Last spring, a woman pulled up to a stoplight next to me in a brand new 2026 RAV4. She was squinting at her center screen, jabbing at it repeatedly, clearly frustrated. At the next light, she rolled her window down and asked if I knew how to turn off the lane keeping alert because it kept beeping at her on the highway. She had owned the car for 4 months. She had no idea her RAV4 was doing something far more intelligent than just beeping. She had no idea she could configure it, customize it, and in some cases, make it disappear entirely with 3 button presses. That conversation made me realize something. Most drivers who buy the 2026 RAV4 are using maybe 30% of what they actually paid for. Today, I am revealing 7 hidden features buried inside the 2026 Toyota RAV4 that Toyota does not advertise in their commercials, that dealerships almost never explain at delivery, and that most owners discover completely by accident if they discover them at all. Some of these will change how you drive every single day. Others will protect your car in ways you never expected. At least 2 of them will make you genuinely wonder why Toyota did not just tell you this from the beginning. I have spent the last several weeks going deep into the 2026 RAV4, talking with owners, studying the updated system architecture, and cross-referencing Toyota's own technical documentation. What I found is not marketing fluff. It is a collection of real functional capabilities engineered into this vehicle that most people never touch. The RAV4 is Toyota's best-selling vehicle worldwide. Millions of people drive one, yet the gap between what this car can do and what most drivers know it can do is staggering. That gap costs people comfort, convenience, and in some cases, real money. So here is what we are covering today. Feature by feature. Exactly what it does, exactly how to access it, and exactly why it matters for your daily driving life. The first hidden feature is one that almost nobody uses correctly, and it is one of the most genuinely useful things Toyota has ever put into a RAV4. It is called Proactive Driving Assist. And on the 2026 model, it has been significantly upgraded from what earlier RAV4 generations offered. Most drivers either have it turned off completely or have it set to a level that makes it feel intrusive and annoying. Neither extreme is right. What Proactive Driving Assist actually does in the 2026 RAV4 is use the car's forward camera and radar to detect the vehicle ahead, and begin gentle, imperceptible braking before you would naturally lift your foot from the accelerator. Not emergency braking, not Toyota Safety Sense intervention. This is preemptive coasting behavior that reduces harsh stop-and-go driving without any driver input. Here is the part Toyota does not tell you. This system has 3 adjustable sensitivity levels accessible through the main display under Vehicle Settings, then Driver Assist. Most cars come from the dealer set to standard, which many drivers find either too aggressive or not noticeable at all, depending on their driving style. Setting it to gentle reduces the preemptive braking impulse, but extends its range, meaning it starts working earlier and more softly. Drivers who commute in heavy traffic consistently report better fuel economy and less fatigue after switching to the gentle setting. The system is not just a safety feature, it is a fuel management feature that happens to also reduce rear-end collision risk. Toyota lists it under safety in every brochure, but the engineers who designed it were thinking about energy recovery and efficiency just as much as protection. The second feature is hidden in plain sight, and once you see it, you will wonder how you ever drove without it. The 2026 Toyota RAV4 has a function called Panoramic View Monitor, but that is not the hidden part. What most owners never discover is that the overhead bird's-eye view can be frozen on screen while you continue driving slowly through a tight parking situation. By pressing and holding the camera button for about 2 seconds after engaging the view, the system locks the last overhead image while the car continues to move. This means you can check your exact position relative to a curb, a concrete barrier, or a tight parking garage column without the image shifting in real time. You can move 6 inches, check the frozen image, move again, check again. It is a feature that Toyota's own engineers use during precision low-speed maneuvering, and it is buried so deep in the interface that most owners never stumble across it naturally. This works on the XLE Premium, TRD Off-Road, Adventure, and Limited trim levels. If you have the base LE or XLE without the panoramic monitor package, this one will not apply to you. But if you have the package, open the camera interface next time you park and try the hold. The image locks within about 2 seconds of pressing and holding the camera icon. The third feature has quietly become one of the most talked about items among serious RAV4 owners in online forums. It involves the 2026 model's updated multi-terrain select system. If you have the all-wheel drive variant, which accounts for a substantial portion of 2026 RAV4 sales, you already know the terrain modes are auto, mud and sand, rock and dirt, and snow. What almost nobody knows is that snow mode on the 2026 RAV4 has been recalibrated compared to previous years to include what Toyota calls second gear starts. When snow mode is engaged, the system now defaults to pulling away from a stop using a higher effective gear ratio in the electronically controlled continuously variable transmission, mimicking the gentle, slip-reducing start behavior of traditional winter driving technique. The practical result is dramatically less wheel spin on icy or wet pavement during the first 2 seconds of acceleration. Toyota did not hold a press conference about this. There are no commercials explaining second gear start logic in the snow mode recalibration. It is real. It is documented in the 2026 technical update notes, and it is the difference between a RAV4 that confidently pulls out of a snowy parking lot and one that shimmies and corrects repeatedly before finding grip. If you live anywhere that sees winter weather and you are not using snow mode during those conditions, you are leaving traction performance on the table that you already paid for. The fourth feature involves the audio system, and it will surprise you because it has nothing to do with sound quality in the traditional sense. The 2026 RAV4 audio system includes a function called Vehicle Sound for Pedestrians, which most hybrid and all-electric adjacent Toyota models use to alert pedestrians at low speeds. The 2026 RAV4 also adds a manual volume control for this external alert tone, and that control is buried 4 menus deep. You can find it by going to Settings, then Vehicle, then Sound Settings, then External Alert Volume. This is not just a compliance feature. At its highest setting, the external alert functions as a slow-speed presence signal in crowded parking lots, school zones, and urban environments where pedestrian activity is high. Most owners have it defaulted to a level that makes it nearly inaudible outside the vehicle. Adjusting it takes 30 seconds, and it can make a meaningful difference to pedestrian safety in your regular driving environment. The fifth feature is the one most owners discover too late. It involves the RAV4's onboard maintenance and diagnostic system. The 2026 Toyota RAV4 includes an updated version of Toyota's intelligent clearance sonar, which detects obstacles during low-speed maneuvering. What almost nobody knows is that this system has a self-calibration check accessible through the instrument cluster. It tells you whether the sensors have drifted from their factory calibration. Sensors on bumpers and corners get hit. They flex. They shift over time from minor contact that is so light you might not even notice. Cold temperatures cause slight physical contractions in sensor housings. Even a pressure wash at the wrong angle can affect sensor orientation. The self-calibration check, found under Vehicle Info in the main settings clustered display, runs a brief diagnostic that compares current sensor readings against the factory baseline. If sensors have drifted beyond tolerance, the system flags them with a yellow status indicator instead of waiting for a full malfunction. This means you can proactively identify a sensor issue before it causes a false alert, a missed obstacle detection, or a confusing warning during your next parallel parking attempt. Most owners learn their sensors have a calibration issue only after getting a dealership warning light. Checking this takes under a minute and should be done anytime your RAV4 has sustained any contact, even what felt like nothing. Feature 6 is one that will change how some owners feel about long highway drives. It connects directly to the RAV4's updated Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 package, which is standard across all 2026 trim levels. Lane Tracing Assist on the 2026 RAV4 uses both lane markings and the vehicle ahead as reference inputs. When you are following another car on the highway, the system can actually center itself in the lane using the vehicle ahead as a visual guide, even when lane markings are faded, obscured, or temporarily absent during highway construction where paint has been stripped. This dual input centering is only active when you have adaptive cruise control engaged simultaneously with lane tracing assist. Both systems must be active together. Most drivers use one or the other, not both, and they rarely discover that when the two work together, they produce a different level of highway stability than either system does alone. In practical terms, long highway drives through construction corridors, night driving with faded lane markings, and rain conditions where lane visibility is compromised all become more manageable. The RAV4 uses the car ahead to stay on track when the road itself is not giving it enough information. Toyota calls this feature combination standard on all 2026 models and includes it in the safety literature, but the combined behavior of dual reference centering is never directly explained. Most drivers only experience it by accident on long trips and describe it as the car feeling unusually steady. Now you know why. The seventh feature is where things get genuinely interesting, and it is the one that separates owners who truly understand their RAV4 from everyone else. The 2026 Toyota RAV4 includes a function, accessible through the Toyota app and the vehicle's connected services interface, called Drive Record. Drive Record is not dashcam footage. It is a behavioral data log that records vehicle dynamics information, braking events, hard acceleration instances, cornering forces, and traction control interventions over time. What most owners do not realize is that this data is stored on a rolling 30-day window and can be reviewed through the Toyota app in a format that shows you patterns in your own driving behavior. Hard braking events get flagged with location and time. Traction control interventions are logged with road condition context derived from the vehicle's own sensors. Here is why this matters beyond curiosity. Toyota's connected services terms in several markets allow this data to be optionally shared with certain insurance programs for potential premium adjustments. That is not the hidden part. The hidden part is that reviewing this data yourself, before anyone else sees it, reveals things about your driving habits and about specific roads or intersections that consistently trigger safety system activity. I spoke with owners who discovered through Drive Record that a specific entrance ramp they drove every morning was consistently triggering traction control interventions they had never consciously noticed. One of them had a tire pressure imbalance that was only revealing itself under cornering load. Another discovered that his braking distance had subtly increased on his daily route, which prompted him to check his brake pads. He was at 12% remaining. He had no warning light. He had no symptoms. The data told him before the car officially did. This is the 2026 RAV4 watching out for you in a way that is entirely invisible until you look at it. And almost nobody looks at it. What connects all 7 of these features is not complexity. None of them require technical knowledge. None of them require tools or a dealership visit. They require only awareness. And awareness is exactly what Toyota never hands you at delivery. They hand you a key fob and a floor mat set and assume you will figure the rest out. The reality of modern vehicles is that the gap between what a car can do and what a driver knows it can do has never been wider. Engineers spend years adding capabilities that improve safety, efficiency, and convenience. Marketing teams spend their budgets talking about horsepower numbers and cargo volume. And somewhere in between, the features that actually change your daily relationship with the vehicle get buried in menu systems nobody explores. The 2026 RAV4 is a genuinely sophisticated machine. Its driver assist systems, its terrain management logic, its sensor architecture, and its connected data capabilities are all meaningfully more advanced than most of its competition at the price point. But none of that sophistication matters if the person behind the wheel is using 5% of it. If you drive a 2026 RAV4, or if you are considering buying one, these 7 features are not bonuses. They are part of what you paid for. The proactive driving assist. Tuning alone can change your fuel economy on a daily commute. The frozen overhead camera view will save you stress in the next parking garage you enter. The snow mode second gear calibration will protect you the next time winter weather arrives. And the drive record data might tell you something about your vehicle before your vehicle officially tells you itself. Modern cars do not fail drivers by being incapable. They fail drivers by being under-discovered. And once you close that gap, once you understand what is actually in the vehicle you are already driving, the experience changes entirely. If this gave you something you did not know before, hit like so other RAV4 owners find it. Subscribe. If you want more breakdowns like this, because there are features buried inside almost every modern Toyota that most owners never find. And drop in the comments if you drive a 2026 RAV4 and have discovered something I did not cover here. The best finds always come from the people actually driving these things every day. The most expensive feature in your car is not the one you cannot afford. It is the one you already paid for and never used.